Hello and welcome to Master Jacko. This is my first live stream. Okay, so I'm going through loads of questions on ratio, trigonometry, Pythagoras, and quite a few other topics as well. So let's go straight into it then. Look, see here, ratio, its simplest form, but I'll use a pencil instead so you can see that a bit better. So ratio, 350 centimeters to 25 centimeters in its simplest form. Okay, so it's similar to cancelling down fractions. You remember to write it as a ratio. So it'll be 350 to 25. And all you have to do then is cancel it down. So you've got to think what number goes into 350 and 25. And you see the factor of those two numbers is 25, is the highest common factor. So that'll be 1, and that'll be 25 is going to 300. That'll be 4, 8, 12, and that'll be 14. And that'll be your answer. 14 to 1. And that is it. So do look out in this question, simplest form, because that gets everyone. I will be uploading this as a video as well onto my channel. So if you do miss live stream, that is absolutely fine. Okay, right. Next one. The questions will get progressively harder as well. I'm going to start quite basic and step it up. Right. The ratio, simplest form again. So 220 into 5. Okay. So with the biggest, oh, well, actually, be careful. It says 5 kilograms. Okay. And well, luckily, they're both in kilograms. For a second, then I thought that might have been grams and kilograms. So you can divide that by 5 and divide that one by 5. So that'll be 1 there. Only 5 is going to 220. That'll be 44. And that's it. So it'll be 44 to 1. Right. Next one. So got Will and Ollie. Oh, hello, AMT 2023. I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining. It's good to see you. Well, it's not see you, but good to talk to you. I can post. Comment. Yeah, so if anyone has any topics want me to go through that I'm not going to go through here, do mention it. And if I can mention it quickly, I'll go through it on here. If not, I'll make another video on it. So. Right then. So Will and Ollie share £80 in the ratio 3 to 2. So work out how much each of them get. This one's quite straightforward, this one. You just add in the parts and divide it into the amount. So I like to show my students, put it as a bit of a bar model. I always say, if you're not sure, draw a picture. So what a lot of maths teachers always say. So 3 and 2. So 3 plus 2. That means there are 5 parts. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. So you're going to do 80 divided by 5, which gets you 16. Right. So each one of those parts is worth 16. And it wants 3 to 2. So you're going to do circle 3 16s, which then gets you 48. And 2 16s, which gets you 32. Right. So then Will gets 48. And Ollie gets 32. You can see it. I'm writing in pencil, but I'm sure you can see that on the camera. It looks pretty good on mine. Right then, next one. So we're sticking with ratio because it's quite a big topic in the exams. Ratio, percentages, they're massive. There's loads of questions involving ratio and percentages. I hope I'm going to see that fine as well. There we go. Right, next one. So there are only green pens, black pens, and red pens in a box. So we've got green, black, and red. There are 4 times as many green pens as black pens. Okay. There are twice as many red pens as green pens. So work out the ratio of green pens to black pens to red pens. So there's 4 times as many green pens to black pens. So that means that'll be 4 to 1 on that one. There are twice as many red pens as green pens. So that must be, well, double the green one. So that must be 8. And that's it. Yeah. 4 to 1 to 8. If anyone does any questions, do show me. Right, yeah, writing pen, absolutely. Right, I will get. Right. To 1. There you go. Yeah, that definitely shows a lot easier. Right, okay, I'll go in pen from now. Thank you for letting me know. So, next one. Write the ratio 12 to 13 in the form 1n. This confuses loads of students. Yeah, this really does confuse a lot of people. But all you do 12, 30, 1, and n. Okay, all you have to do is think, right, what does 12 get divided by to get to 1? So just divide by 12. So I have to do the same with 30, divide that by 12. So it'll be 1 and 30 divided by 12, just for speed. 30 divided by 12 using my calculator, it is 2.5. And yet you can have a decimal in a ratio. Yeah, 1 to 2.5. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. That does catch people out, though, having decimals. Any questions, do throw them in the comments. Thank you for letting me know. AMT 2023, that you wanted it in pen. That's good to know. This is my first live, so obviously some things will change next time. Right, next one. So we've got ABC is a straight line. So the length of BC is 3 times the length of AB. So if AB is 1, then BC is 3 times that. So that's going to be 3 as a ratio. AC is 80 meters. So the distance all the way is 80. So for this one, all I've got to do, how many parts have we got altogether? That's 4. So it'll be 80 divided by 4, which equals 20. And then you're going to multiply each one of these by 20. And that is it. So that'll be 20 to 60. So the length BC is 60. And that is it. Right. Next one. So that could be the last one on ratio. There might be another one. Nope, still a bit more on ratio yet. I've picked out these questions because I've tried to get a wide range of ratio questions. So they are getting progressively harder. So this is where students do start struggling with these type of questions. Carly and James share some money in the ratio 5 to 3. So Carly, James. So I always do this just from that one sentence and making notes already. 5 to 3. Carly gets £70 more than James. Okay. So this is where, instead of this, I'll start writing it as a picture. So Carly gets 5 boxes. Right. And James gets 3 boxes. Right. And Carly gets £70 more than James. So these extra 2 boxes that Carly's getting is worth 70. So you know 2 boxes are worth 70. So if you half that, you get in each one. So that'll be 35 in each box. So I've done that quite small. So each one is worth 35. And that's it. So he's going to do 35 multiplied by 3, which will be 105. And that is it. Right, next one. So we've got Dave is making cookies. He mixes flour, butter, and sugar in the ratio 6:1. So I'll be there writing that ratio out. Flour, butter, sugar, 6:4:1. Right. Dave uses 160 grams of butter. Right. So I'll be putting that 160 right there. Right. Work out how much flour and sugar Dave uses. So this is where you got to think, what's 4 been multiplied by to get to 160? So 4 multiplied by something equals 160. So then if I divide by 4, that gets me 40. So now each one of these needs to get multiplied by 40. So that'll be 240, and that's 40 there. So flour is 240, and sugar is 40. Right, next one. So now that's the ratio done, going into algebra now. So here's the algebra. Right, simplify. Because you're not actually working out what A, B, and C are. So simplify. This one's dead easy. You're actually just putting the letters together. So just A, B, C, and that is it. Right, next one. 5p minus 2p, that is just 3p. 6h divided by 3 is just 2h, and that is it. Yeah, quite easy then ones. Right, Stepping up a bit more. Right, this one. So when you're multiplying, think like your numbers first. So 3 multiplied by 9, that's 27. And then you're just putting the B on the end. And that is it. So that one is just 27B. All right, next one. If you think you can finish these off before I go through them, try and get ahead of me and try and do the questions before I get to it. Okay, so next one. 2x minus 6y, that's minus 4x. 3y minus 4y, that's minus 7y. Right, next one. I will leave it there a second. See if you can have a go at this one. Right, so this one, I always split it in half. And then I'd work out these separately. So 25% of 90. And then 28% of 82. Right, so 25% is basically a quarter of 90. So you're just doing 90 divided by 4. And it says that you must show your working. It's really important that you show how you're getting your answer. So half 90 twice, it's 45, 22.5. And then 28% of 82. So to find 28%, well, 100% equals 82. So then 10% would be 8.2. So 20% is double that, which will be 16.4. And 1% will be 0.82. 8%, I'll just use my calculator for this one, just to speed up a little bit. So 0.82 multiplied by 8, which is 6.56. And then you are going to add those two together. Yeah, so 20%, 8%, which is 16.4, and 6.56. So I'll just quickly do that on the calculator, 16.4. So that is 22.96. And you can clearly see that this one is bigger than this one. So 28% of 82 is bigger. They always do it, so these numbers are quite close to each other. Yeah, it's not way out like one's 50 and one's 20. They always make it so it's really close, so you kind of have to work it out. Right, next one, which not on this one. No. Now we are going in to angles. Oh, percentages first, just before angles. Right. There's a wire in the way here. I'll just move this. There's a wire in the way. There we go. That's better. Right then. Gary buys a dress in a sale. The lighting's gone a little bit off there. There we go. Gary buys a dress in a sale. The normal price of the dress is reduced by 20%. So be careful when you read these questions. The normal price is £36.80. Work out the sale price of the dress. So this, real life, you see this all the time. So, 100% equals £36.80. So we want to take off 20%. So easy way we find 20%. So we get 10% first, which will be £3.68. And if we double that one, I'm just using my calculator just because it's a bit quicker, which is £7.36. Then all we're going to do is take that away from that. So to do £36.80, subtract £7.36. So it's £36.80. I'll put my calculator in here. So I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't see that too well. What I'll do, if I show you anything on the calculator, really specific, I will put it on up to the camera so you can really see. And I've got some questions later on trigonometry where that will help. So £29.44. Sometimes it can be picky about answer line. I'd always write your answer on the answer line so they can see. And in the exam, because I've marked papers before, they want that clear working out, showing the method, okay? Right, next one. So have a quick drink. Oh, now we're going on to angles. Now our percentages. now we are going to go on to angles. This one's quite straightforward. So straight line, size of angle x. Quite straightforward, this one. So hopefully we should know that angles on a straight line make 180. So we know x plus 121 equals 180. So we're just going to subtract 121 from 180. So then x equals 159. And that is it. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Right then, so next one that's the easy angles questions, okay? Sometimes it will ask you to give a reason for your answer. That's where you'd write down a sentence. Right, next one. So ABC is where you got to really read the questions carefully to look for the key words. So ABC is an isosceles triangle. So you got to think what that tells us, yeah? If it's isosceles, two angles are the same and also two sides are the same. The angle marked X. Right, be careful because a triangle on its side, you've got to think which angles are the same. So in isosceles triangle, two sides are the same, but the base angles are the same. Not two random angles, the base angles. So this one is the same as this one. So that would also be 65 degrees. So then you do the same what before. The angles in a triangle add up to the same total as a straight line. So you'll just be doing 65 plus 65 plus something equals 180. So that makes 130 plus something equals 180. So then you'll take away 130. So x equals 50 degrees. Yeah, nice and easy. Really clear working out. So when an examiner looks at your paper, they can give that a tick and easily see what you've done. Yeah, you get all the marks. Question. The question numbers don't necessarily match to the order I put them in. These are ones I found on exam papers. Okay, so it's not necessarily going to be question 8 and question 9 it follows. It's a bit random. It's just more key topics I tried to pick out. Right, next one. So, I'll make the camera a bit for. Actually, it's all right. I'll move the questions down as we go. The diagram shows a square, ABCD, and an equilateral triangle. Yeah, really careful. Big key word there. This is just maths jargon, just random language, okay, they have to say. Don't worry about it too much. It's just saying that A, B, C, D, or A, B, D, E, sorry, and B, C, D. They just have to put that so you're aware what shape it means. Equilateral triangle. So that means this triangle, all sides are the same, and all angles are the same. So I've not even looked at what the question is asking yet, but I just put in little bits of information that I know. An equilateral triangle, we know they all add up to 180, but if they're all the same, we're going to do 180 divided by 3, which equals 60. So you know each of these angles equals 60. And then because it's a square, we know that they are right angles, so they are making 90. Right. This language where people get a bit confused. So I've already wrote lots of information down to make it easy. Write down the size of angle ABD. So ABD. It basically wants this angle here. Yeah, ABD. So then that, because it's a right angle, would be 90 degrees. Right, next one. Write down the size of angle BCD. BCD. So that'll be 60 degrees. Right. Find size of the angle ADC. So ADC. This way is a little bit tricky. You have to do a bit of thinking around it. Okay. So we know these two sides are the same because it's a square, and these two sides are the same because it's a square. So that's their isosceles triangles within the square. And if that's 90, those two angles have to add up to 90 as well. So they'll be 45 each. Right, have I got it? So ADC, ADC. So that one's going to be 45 as well. So ADC, be careful with this one. It wants all of that there. So you are adding 45 plus 60. And that equals 105 degrees. If anyone does have any questions or comments, do throw them in comment section. If it's something you're a bit unsure of, just write a comment down. And if I can answer it now, I'll answer it now. Or I'll put it on my next video. Right. Carrying on with angles, let's keep going. So come on, let's keep going. All right, next one. Have a look at that. So ABCD is a parallelogram. Parallelogram means these sides are the same, okay? I'm just going to give you a second just to read through that and what you think, okay? I'm going to answer in about 10 seconds. Right, so have a look at that. Parallel sides. Yeah, lines that never meet. Parallel sides, okay? Basically, it's these little arrows here, because these two single ones means those are parallel with each other, and these two sides mean that these are a pair. Yeah, that's not parallel with that one. So parallelogram is basically like a rectangle pushed over. These are just telling you what the angles here. Calculate the size of angle X, or this one. This way, you need to know a few more of your angle rules. So, little things here. So we can do angles of a triangle. So we can work out that one, because these three will all make 180 degrees. So you got 124 plus 25. I'll just call that angle A for now. Plus A equals 180. So add those together, 149 plus A equals 180. So then take that away from that one. So A equals, that'll be 31. So we know that is now 31 degrees. Right. And then, hopefully you know alternate angles. So we know this, because it makes a Z. You know, those angles are the same. So you know that one's 31 degrees. So I'm almost at X. Right, so that one's 31. And then opposite angles in a parallelogram make 180 degrees is another trick you can use. There are other ways you get to it as well, but those make 180 degrees. So you know, if that's 63, 63 plus something, 63 plus something equals 124. So that one then would be 61. So then you can do angles in a triangle to get X then. So that one there is going to be 61 plus 31 plus X equals 180. Add them together, that'll be 92 plus something equals 180. So then last answer will be 88. Right, so X is 88. And there you can clearly see all the working out. Yet again, it might say, give me reasons for your answers as well. Right, next one. So I think we could still be on angles. Might be on the next one now. Right, we are on to Pythagoras now. So this is where it's stepping up to that grade 4, grade 5 topics, okay? So it used to, quite a few years ago, say, using Pythagoras, work out the missing side, whereas now it doesn't tell you any of that. It just says what's the length of the missing side, and that is it. Calculate the length, AC. So AC, it wants this one here. So you then need to think, what do you need to do? Because you have two sides, and you want a missing side using Pythagoras, which is your A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So then this one is always C, but it doesn't matter which way around these ones are. So C is always the longest side, which is the hypotenuse. These ones, it doesn't matter. So then that'll be 4.8 squared plus 3.6 squared, which equals C squared, or X squared, doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to use a calculator for that just to make it a bit quicker. So 4.8 squared plus 3.6 squared, and that equals 36, which is C squared. So then also the length of that side isn't 36 because they are quite small numbers. So then you have to square root. So the opposite of squaring is square rooting. So square root 36. So then C equals 6. So you know that is 6. And to get all the marks, you need you working out like this. So it's really easy when someone's marking it to know exactly where it's coming from. Okay. Right. Next one. So let's move it up. Right, and so it looks like we are using Pythagoras again because we have two sides. However, the necessarily means always Pythagoras, though. Let's read it a bit more. Calculate length BC. So we want BC, which is this one here. Give your answer one decimal place. So this would have been from a calculator paper. Right, so Oh, I've got a question here, so I've seen. Right, AMT 2023. Good question. I will message you back in a moment, just so I end up making this really going on for quite a long time. Writing a message. I will message you after this and I'll tell you what I've done just to give you a bit of a heads up for it. But yeah, I'll definitely let me know if you do go live and I will check you out. Okay. Thank you for the comment. Right. I will get back to that. Back on this. So Pythagoras, because we have two sides, missing side. So that's C, A and B. Okay. This time we don't want the longest side to hypotenuse. We want a shorter side. So we know these ones. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. If this was an exam, you wouldn't get any marks for writing that, okay? It's only when you start putting numbers in, you start getting marks. So then 6 squared plus B squared equals 14 squared. So now you would start getting marks because you've put those numbers in there. Right, so then you're going to take that away from that one. So you have B squared equals, or 14 squared is 196, and 6 squared is 36. And B squared, I'm moving this up a little bit more so you can see. So I'll take that away. So that'll be 160. And then you'll be square rooting that. So B equals square root of 160. So I'm going to use my calculator. Right. What I would do, because a calculator, I don't know if you can see that, has gave me loads of digits. I would always write all of them down first, okay? I'll write all them down first. Let's put them there a second. So I've got 12.64911.064. Because sometimes in an exam, you still get marks for that. Because that shows you at least understand what you're doing. This, depending on, they might give you an extra mark if you get this part right. So then, one decimal place, you're going to do the 4 against a 6. So it'll be 12.6. And that's your answer. I always say to my students, write the full thing first before going straight to this. Because if you make a mistake rounding, then you're not going to get the marks. Write the full number first. Right, next one. Right, and now our last two questions. This is good old trigonometry as well. This is a grade 5 topic. Really important. We know this one as well. Get us extra marks at the end. So this one here and on this one. So trigonometry. Oh, yeah, I have made videos on these separately. Do check them out. I'm not going to do the full teaching on this. Kind of assume you've got a bit of a hand on it as well. A bit of a grasp of it. So using SOHCAHTOA. Yeah, so if you've seen that before, this is just a thing we use to help us work out what we need to do. So I'm going to need my calculator on this one in a sec, which I'll get in a moment. Right, now we have to start labeling sides, okay? So similar to Pythagoras, this one's always the hypotenuse, H. And now these other two things as well. We have opposites. I'll write these down for you as well so you can see. And adjacent. So the opposite is opposite the angle. So that's O. And the adjacent is, well, adjacent to the angle. Yeah. Right. And now we're going to use this based on what information we're given here. So we are given the opposite side, which is 20. So then we're going to underline the O's because we're given those. And then what side do we want to find? We want to find the hypotenuse. So we're going to underline the H's. So because this part here has two things underlined, these are three separate things. We're going to use this one here, which is sine equals the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So then, well, more specifically, it's sine of the angle. So then, let's start using it. So sine of our angle equals the opposite side, which is 20, divided by the hypotenuse, which is h. Now, we do know what a number is here because we're given this angle here. So it's going to be 35. So I'll write that again. Sin 35 equals 20 over h or x. Doesn't really matter which one you put there. Right then. So now what we're going to do, we are going to swap those around. So the hypotenuse equals 20 divided by sin 35. And now I'm going to put that into my calculator, okay? So, can you see that? So, sine is this button here, and you're going to put 35. You can do it as a fraction or just press divide. It doesn't really matter. And then you're going to put, oh, sorry, it's the wrong way around. So, it's 20 divided by sin 35. And like before, write down the full answer, okay? So that is 34.86893591. And on this question, it doesn't tell you to round it to any decimal places. So that is your answer right there. Seems quite a lot of work for 2 marks. But you get your first mark for putting numbers into a form like this, and that'll be your second mark. Right, last question. Best question to last. It's another trigonometry question. Right, if you see a triangle like this, you are okay to just turn it around if you wanted to make it easier. Yeah, you might see it better. Right, so when I see something like this, I'll start labeling. Like before, it doesn't tell you what you're using. It doesn't say use trigonometry or use Pythagoras. So I'll start labeling. So H, the opposite over here, and A. Right? I know it's trigonometry because we're using an angle. If you're using an angle or trying to find an angle, it's trigonometry. Pythagoras is all sides. So I'll write out SOHCAHTOA again. Right. Now, what do we know the lengths of? We know the hypotenuse. So that's H and H. And we know, right, here we go. Almost then. Calculate the length AB. So AB means that one there. Sometimes it catches out on questions that, like the one before, had a nice X right here telling us what we need to work out, whereas this one didn't. So that will catch a few students out. It says AB, which is this side here. So I'll just put the X in myself. Right, and what side do we want to find? The A, which is the adjacent. So we're using K or cos or cosine. So cos of the angle equals our adjacent side, which we don't know, which we want to find. So that's X over hypotenuse, which is 15. Oh, get rid of that there. So then X divided by 15 equals this. So then we are, I forgot to put 42 there. My bad. We are going to do cos 42 multiplied by 15. So cos 42 multiplied by 15. Right. So if our answer is correct, because this is a shorter side compared to this one, our answer should not be bigger than 15. Yeah, because that's the hypotenuse. So that's one way to check if it's right. It might necessarily be drawn to scale. I know that one looks bigger than that one. If you know that side, be careful. They're not always drawn to scale in an exam. So cos 42 multiplied by 15. Can you see that? There you go. And our answer, luckily, is less than 15. So then, like before, write the full answer, 11.147217238. And that is our answer. Right. So thank you for watching. This is my first live stream, first of hopefully many. And I hope I'll see you on more of them. I will let you know any dates I'm doing a live stream again. I hope to see you again. I'll answer AMT 2023's comments soon. Take care, and I hopefully see you on the next live stream. Bye-bye.